In this video, let's make a picture of a rational function. So when we make a sketch by hand, we have to collect some key information. One of them is the intersects. So there are two kinds, the x and the y. To find the y-intersect, we make x equal 0. And if x is 0, that means we have y equals 0 minus 2 divided by 0 squared minus 1, which is negative 2 over negative 1, which is 2. So the y-intercept is 2. The x-intercept, to find it, we have to make y equal 0. And if y happens to be 0, then we have 0 is 3x minus 2 divided by x squared minus 1. To solve this equation, we have a fraction on one side. We can make two fractions, one per side, and if we have that set up, then we can cross multiply to solve. 0 times x squared minus 1 is equal to 1 times 3x minus 2. 0 times anything is 0, so that's 0 is 3x minus 2. And solving for the x, we can add 2 to both sides and then divide by 3. So the x-intersect is 2/3. Now, the next step is, the next piece of information is the asymptotes. The asymptotes are the lines, imaginary lines. They're not visible on the actual graph, but they are the lines that our picture will get really close to, but it doesn't cross them. There are three types of asymptotes: vertical, horizontal, and oblique, also known as slant. The vertical cannot be crossed. The other two can be, but eventually, as we get, eventually the graph will get really close to them. So to find the vertical asymptote, we make the denominator equal to 0. So if we look at the denominator, which is the bottom part of our equation, and make it equal to 0, what answers would we get? Well, we have on the denominator, we have x squared minus 1. So if we make x squared minus 1 equal to 0, what answers does it have? Well, we can add 1 to both sides, and then to cancel the square, we use square root. And each time we use square root, we put plus minus in front of it. Square root of 1 is 1. So we have two solutions, plus and minus 1. That means that each time x turns into either 1 or plus 1, we will have 0 on the bottom, which means we will be dividing by 0, and that's impossible, which makes our graph break. So our vertical asymptote is what is impossible, and that's the part, and that's why the picture will have a gap at that point. So we can plot some of this information already as we collect the data. So here is the axis, the x, the y, and we have found two asymptotes, one that goes through 1, it's an imaginary line that we are not going to cross, and the other one goes through negative 1. Now the x-intersect is 2/3, so if this is 1, then this is 2. 2/3 is less than 1, it's 0.6, so this is our x-intersect. The y-intersect happened to be 2, so here is the 2, so we count 1, 2, that's a y-intercept. Now, the horizontal asymptote, to look at the horizontal asymptote, we'll look at the degree on the top and the degree on the bottom. So as we look at the highest power, degree means highest power. So if we look at the highest power on the top, that's 3x to the 1. Highest power on the bottom is square. So the top power is 1, the bottom power is 2, so top power is less than the bottom, top degree is less than the bottom degree, which means y equals 0 is our horizontal asymptote. Well, y equals 0, here is the y-axis, and y equals 0 happens to be here, which is the horizontal or x-axis. So the y equals 0 is the x-axis. So we will get really close to this line as we look far to the right and far to the left. Our graph will get closer to this x-axis. Now, at this point, we can already make a picture. We are going to go through these two dots, which means something like this. Now, on the other two sides, here and here, we don't know if the graph is above the x-axis or below. To find out what it is, we can use a table. We can plug in some numbers that are less than -1 and see if that answer comes out to be positive, then we're above. Negative, we're below. We could also use a calculator. So let's just use a calculator and have a look at the diagram. So here is the graphing calculator. And here is the equation already typed in, 3x minus 2, x squared minus 1, and let's look at a picture. So here comes the left side and the right side. So we can see that the graph breaks here at -1 and at 1, and it gets really close to our horizontal asymptote, y equals 0. And that's what the graph looks like, so we can fill in the other two components there on the bottom, going like this, and then on the top, on the right hand side. And that's a sketch. So this is how to make a sketch of a rational function. So we collect the information about the intersects and the asymptotes, and then once we have that, that's our main pieces of information. The rest of the picture will follow these two key components. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions about anything or anything is unclear, please send a comment, leave a message, and I'll try to do it differently. The more information I collect about what makes sense, what doesn't, the more I can try different things, and hopefully some of it will be beneficial. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care.